I was out in my rose garden the other day with my camera looking for something to photograph. And I came across this beautiful rose trellis that we have in the garden. And I took a picture of it. And today's painting is going to be that rose trellis. Let's take a look at the painting. There she is. Now, the important part of this painting is not so much the leaves and the roses, but look at this antique edge I have on here. Now, my trellis at home was at one time painted, and some of the painting kind of through the weather and the snow and everything, some of it just flaked right off, leaving the wood show underneath. So let me show you the canvas I have prepared for today's painting. Now, I have something on here that you really can't see, which gives us the texture on the canvas. And this stuff is called modeling paste, and this is stuff you can get at your art store. Now, it's on there, and I put it on with a knife, and I just let the paste kind of jump along here. Some places the paste sticks, and some it doesn't. And I also have some in here and some in here. Now, let me talk to you a minute about... Where did I do with well, I had some tape up here. It's just good old masking tape. And what I do is I mask this off. And I don't use a ruler in here. I just sort of eyeball it and run my tape across. Boom, boom, this way, and in here. And then I take some black acrylic and I paint the whole thing black. After it's dry, I peel all the tape off, which leaves me all these white lines. Now, in order to separate the top board from the back, you can see I put a little shadow back here and down the side and here, which gives the trellis a more of a three-dimensional look. Now, we're going to start out with the fun stuff. Let's come on down to the old palette. I'm going to take some odorless thinner with a 1-inch, with a very wide brush, and really thin this paint down. Now, it's hard to remember all this, but I promise the directions will be in the book. Now, let's take a look at the canvas up here. This is Portrait Smooth canvas to start with, but I've got so much stuff on here, the Portrait Smooth part probably isn't there, but it's Ultra Smooth canvas underneath. Let's take and put a wash. I'm going to dip into the odorless thinner, really get it soupy, and on it goes. Now, look what it's doing. Let's get, in some places, it's going to be thicker. Look at that, darker. Can you see it? And you take your towel and you wipe it down. And the more you do, the more you hit it, the more texture you're going to see, because it builds up, a little more thinner, it builds up behind that modeling paste. Let's put it on, even if it runs a little bit. Let's get that really wet. Look at it run. Can you see it? Don't be afraid of this stuff. We really want to get in there, and get this thing tinted. Here's a little green. Who knows? Maybe it picks up. Whoop, a little. Let's mix it with that. Let's just play. Let's get some of that all over here. Boom, up here, over here. Ding, ding, ding. All around, and don't be afraid of it. Cover the whole canvas. Get everything going. Each time you do this, you're going to end up with something different. You could not do the same thing twice, because you would put your modeling paste on and it would come out thicker in some spots and thinner in others. Now, let's take our towel. Now, this is very, very wet up here. Watch what happens. Let's take a spot, say right about in here. I'm going to wipe it back just a little. You see how it brings out the white of board underneath. On some places, you're going to want to hit it with your towel to get that texture in there, all over the place. Just hit it, hit it, honey. Get it on. And if that doesn't do it, you just take your hat and you hit it with your hat. If you don't have a hat, just find one. But the more stuff we have on there, because it's full, bugs have been on it, I'm going to take a fan brush, and I'm going to I'm gonna hit that right in here. You see the little specks it puts on there? Let's take a little more of that sienna and green. And we're going to hit it in there again. Boom, boom, boom. You see it? Now, as it dries, it'll go through a softening effect, so it won't be that hard looking. Let's come over here and hit it. Now, we want to do most of this before we start in with our leaves and our flowers, because if you try to do this later, our flowers would be all speckled, and then people will talk about us. Let's go in here and get a little more right in here. Pow, pow, pow. Okay, how are you doing? Let's get a little more. We have time. And again, the fun part of this painting is the tinting. Hit it while it's very wet. Not too bad. Okay, now, even after this dries and you get your roses in, you get all your leaves in, and the painting dries thoroughly, you can go back in and do maybe some shadows underneath your leaves, underneath the rose. Maybe we'll get some in today on our painting. Oh, there's a little spot right up in there. Work it in. If it gets too much, just soften it out. Okay. Now, I was looking in our garden at this trellis, and I was looking at the way you have to really study nature. Nature's your best teacher out there. Yes, books are good and tapes and videos are all good, but your best teacher will be from nature. You go out in your garden, and if you don't have a garden, why don't you have a garden? Everybody should have a garden. Or even have a potted plant if it's winter outside. You can always find something that's growing. And study the way the vine grows. Now, this is super wet, and this is a liner brush. We're going to come up here. Now, remember, the vine maybe starts at the back. It comes over the top. It goes under, comes back out, over the top, under, you see? And you just get her in there. Let's get in there. Maybe we can get it a little darker. I'm making this very, very soupy. You can see how soupy everything is down here. We're going to have another one here coming over, under. Maybe it's creeping over the top. Maybe it comes underneath. You see it happen? Now, you have a lot more time at home, so you can play with all these vines. Now, I put a lot more vines in the painting than was actually in the photograph. So, you have to just do whatever it takes to make a good, nice composition. Actually, the vinier you get, you see that little stuff hanging off? The vinier you get, the more earthy, the more gardeny, if that's a word, it looks. Here's another one coming down. Now, you can even twirl it, see? Twirl it. It just kind of works its way down and out. Let's come on the other side. Let's have another one. Over the top, it goes under, comes out. Over, under. You see? We're going to get another little thing here. And again, the more you put in, the better it looks. How are we doing? We getting viney? Just keep putting it in. Now, this is a rather simple painting to do, because most of the work is putting in the lattice work. And let's take, now, if I put that dark, watch, see, if I put that dark here, it doesn't show because it's dark against dark. So let's take a little foliage green light, and let's see if that'll make it show up a little bit more. See? Don't get gaudy, but just look at that thing. Look at it hang down. And let's get some rhythm in it. Don't just have your stuff hanging straight down. I'm going to take a little yellow with my foliage green dark, and I'm going to come in and highlight. You see that? You see, the beauty in a painting is in the detail. It's not in all the big stuff. It's in the little stuff. Everybody skips. Look at this. Look at that. Everybody skips this. And when people get up next to your painting, they look at it. They want to see this detail in there. You know the old Dutch masters back in the 16 and 1700s got paid by the number of flowers and the detail in their paintings. The more detail, the more bugs and butterflies and moths they put in the painting, the higher price. And they got paid very well. On one of the shows, I'm going to show you a painting that my wife and I worked on together that's done after the old Dutch masters. I won't show it to you on this one, but it'll be coming up. Now, let's put a few leaves in. We'll take a brush here. It's a 1/2 inch flat, and we'll put a little, start with some foliage green, light, and just wiggle color, angle from the side of the leaf back, and then we'll take a little more yellow, and we'll highlight that. Now sometimes I'll run around the painting, which I'll probably do, and not highlight it right away. It's best not, don't put a leaf in and highlight it, and then put another leaf in and highlight it, because then you don't know really what you get, and you get crazy with the highlights. So let's get some leaves going first. And study leaves. And where can you study them? What I do when I'm doing a painting, I go out in the garden, and I'll just bring in some leaves and put them in a vase, and I'll use them as a guide to put them into my painting. If you don't paint from nature, you have a tendency to keep painting the same thing over and over and over. And it gets boring. You actually know what the painting is going to look like before you even get it finished. How boring is that? I see so many people that are painting florals out there that they paint everything, this is just a little yellow, they paint everything straight. Here's their flowers, one on top of the other, boom, boom, boom. Here's 6 leaves over here, here's 6 leaves over here, here's 4 leaves up here. Boring. Everything is perfectly balanced. That's the left side of the brain working, which wants everything lined up and perfect. You need to get over to the creative side. That's the side that you need to wake up. Most of the creative side of the brain in most people is asleep. It was awake at one time. And that one time was when you were in kindergarten and they gave you all these crayons and things to play with. And your creative side was awake and you were having fun. But as we grow up, we lose it. And so that side has gone bye-bye. How are we doing? Let's get another one in here. Boy, it's turning into a leaf painting. Yes. You notice that stem, how it comes up and it twists and it turns? Don't just paint straight stuff and throw stuff in there. Don't be afraid of it. Get in and be creative. I'd rather do a painting that's creative and really just kind of screw up on the whole thing, but at least it showed some creativity, than just doing the same old thing over and over. Look at the white. Look at the white popping. Let's pop it here. Let's pop it. Most people, again, when they do paintings, they leave these lights off. Look at that. And let's come down and pick up some aqua blue and white. What's that going to do? Now, this is mostly green up here. Let's get a little cool. Whoa. Oh, honey. Can you see it? Look at it. Let's get another one in here. Look at that cool. Let's get some more of that blue. Maybe a little more intense. Look at that. Boom, boom. Play like a child. I'm always telling you that. Hope you get a chance to see all the shows on this series. I'm really getting into painting a lot of birds. My wife, Catherine, will be doing egret. No, I'm doing the egret. Somebody's doing the egret. She's going to do a blue and gold macaw. I'm doing the egret, and we're going to do some fish. Yeah. I'm going to show you how to blow paint around so it looks like coral. Good stuff coming down the line. Let's get a rose in our painting. We're going to come down and let's pick up some magenta rose. What a beautiful name. Magenta rose. And right in here, look at that color. Popping. Yes. And we're going to put in a base color first. Actually what we're doing is putting in the shadow first. We can overlap that side just a little bit. Then we'll take some deep burgundy, which is a deep dark red, and we'll stick that right in here, maybe some back in here. Study roses, guys. And get the real rose and study it. Feel the petals. Feel how thin they are. Now we have what we call a belly right in here. And then we're going to take, this is our magenta rose and a touch of white, using the side of the brush. And now watch how I just push down. These are foreshortened edges. These are petals that face right towards you. And we're going to come back here and pick out some petals. You see how we pick them out? See? And it's just this stroke that's so important. Let's do it again. Well, let's bring some of this edge around a little bit. See? And maybe way inside, there's just a hint that there's something going on way in there. I start to whisper when I do this stuff. Whew. And a little more lighter color out here, maybe way down here. Maybe there's a little edge that sticks out on the bottom. Make sure it's well balanced. Let's get another petal in there. And again, study your rose. Most people have trouble with their roses because the drawing isn't there. So you have to go over and paint and study and paint at least 100 roses. That's how many it takes. I'm going to get a little more white in there. Yeah, look at that. Look at it popping. Yeah. Let's pull back a little bit on that rose so we can see a whole thing. Because when you're up close to it, it's hard to see everything. You might be doing a good job on one side, and it might be going down the tubes on the other. Well, there's a little hint of blue in there. See it? Every painting needs a little hint of blue. And you keep stroking, and you keep hitting that little rose until it says rose. Roses are not forgiving, guys. Boy, poppies are forgiving if you mess up a little bit. But the rose says, you better do a good job, or I will turn on you. You guys that paint roses know that. So it takes practice. These little buildup of paint, how did I get that? It's by putting the brush down and pushing back and then down. You see, if I push back, it gives me a little buildup of paint which accents the edge of the rose. Alrighty. Now, this painting has also some wonderful buds floating around, and we're going to put just a kind of a round back, and we're going to take a little of that dark burgundy, put in there, and we're going to take our little bit of our pale pink, and we'll pick a little edge out of there. Look at that go in. You see it? So it looks like we can see right inside there. We'll take a little of our foliage green dark and a touch of yellow. And we'll come over here and put a little green hood on this guy. You see how easy? You see it? Well, we might want that stem to go someplace. Okay, now I'm going to come up to the top. A little more of that deep burgundy. Because we have a beautiful bud sitting right up in here. And we have another bud that's going to be way over here, and I'm just going to lay it in. Well, I have that same color on there. And way on the bottom, I see another bud that's overlapping right in here. All right. Now, let's stay on the bottom. We're going to take a little of this blue, aqua blue and yellow. And we'll have a little stem. Don't put it in straight, but it curves. And then there's a little hood on top of that. And here, and whoa, look at that guy hanging down. We can maybe, he's not quite light enough. Yes, yes. We can always take, I'm going to take my little filbert and take some of that blue and yellow, very dry, no medium. I'm going to take that, and let's go back after that. Yes, that's what I want. Now we're cooking. All right. Now on that stem, we can always go back in and flip some stuff out where there might be a little vine coming out of that. We have another bud way over here. Woo! Before I put the green on, let's get our pink color and put that in here. I'm using a filbert. Now, you don't have to scream and holler at people. Here's a little bud. Just see, some of your buds, they're just kind of there. Because the prima donna is the big flower, the big rose. Here's that greenery going on. You see? If you want to, I've showed this quite a bit, but if you want to do a little teeny bud, you'll take your filbert, load it up on the side and the bottom. And let's take a little of this foliage green. And we'll come up here and come over and push and roll that brush down and back. And there's a bud. Let's do it again, because you're at home going, wait a minute. Do that again, because I don't believe how you did that. I'm going to load up your filbert on the sides and the flat, everything, and put a little green on the tip. So we have a little green on the tip and red towards the back. Let's come up here. Let's put another one. Whee! And push. Let's see if there's a bud under there. Yes! I know. It's that easy, guys. Let's put a little hood on the top of these guys. There. Now, let's take a look at what we have. We have this big guy on the top. And we're going to get a little light up in here and back in here. We want it so we can see inside that little bud. And if your light is showing, it's coming from the right, let's get it a little lighter up there. Just a shot. Boom, boom, boom. Now, that one came out. Good. You never know, guys. And a little hood here and here. You see how I twisted the brush to get that little edge? Sometimes on the other side of the bud, you would find little pieces sticking out. Now, there's a whole lot more in here, guys. I know. I won't get everything in, but it'll be in the book for you to see the painting and everything that's in there. But I want to get a little more stuff here, just to kind of balance it off. Here. Let's stand back. I see a leaf I didn't highlight. Let's take our green and let's put that right in there. Yes, and maybe on the shadow side, a little bit of our blue. Here. Now let's stand back and see what we have. You always have to stand back. Don't just paint with your nose up against the canvas. We might have some more coming out of here. It's whatever you guys want to do. You know, you can make up your own composition. You can have as much in here or as little as you like. And you know, you don't have to just paint on canvas. Let me show you something else that can be painted on that's fun. And I bet you guys never thought of this. Take a look at this. This is painted on a vase. Look at this. Now, my wife Catherine painted this one. Can you see it? So you don't have to just paint on canvas, guys. You can paint on vases and have lots of fun doing vase paintings. And maybe on one of the shows down the line. Woo, let's see. Look at that. This is my favorite. Okay, guys. Well, there you are. I hope you enjoyed the show. And let's just paint all these rose trellises and have fun. Thanks for watching out there, and don't forget to stop and smell the roses along the way. Bye-bye.
Wilt u leren schilderen, net als Gary Jenkins? Bestel dan nu de schilderset, samengesteld door Gary Jenkins zelf.
I have personally selected the finest paints for this exclusive set.
De allerbeste olieverf, medium, verdunner, kwaliteitskwasten, een instructieboekje en als bonus een prachtige instructie-dvd. Vanaf €149 heeft u deze prachtige set in huis. Bestel nu en ga naar omroepmax.nl.
Actuele onderwerpen, het zijn zinnige onderwerpen waar gewoon een duidelijke behoefte aan is.
Max moet blijven bestaan en ze moeten gewoon een stem hebben in Hilversum.